Thank you for joining the podcast for Beyond the Banter. Before we get started, you need to know some important information. If you need support immediately, please reach out to one of the following organisations. Lifeline on 131114, Beyond Blue on 1300224636, or Men's Line Australia on 1300789978. If your life is in danger, please call 000 immediately.
Hey guys, welcome back to the second episode of Beauty Beyond the Banter. We hope that you had a really good time listening to the first one. And again, would like to say thank you so much to Candice for sharing her story. Today is a pretty exciting day, I think. I have my co-host here with me, Miss Shak. How you doing?
Oh, I'm fantastic. I'm so honoured and blessed and humbled to have chosen to be a co-host on this beautiful experience. Thank you, Jaz.
You're welcome.
And hopefully this journey is a beautiful ride.
Absolutely. When the boys asked me to do this straight away, I couldn't have thought of anyone else that I would want to help out with this. It's going to be an absolute up and down ride without ADHD.
A tear has been shed for myself because not only I'm so incredibly proud and blessed to have known you as a person, but to experience this with you and to be chosen for this beautiful opportunity as well to help people spread awareness and show some love and kindness and understanding to people's lives and life stories.
Oh, mate. Look at you go. Alrighty. Again, I just want to let all of you know that some of the topics that we do speak about on this podcast are quite triggering. And if at any point in any of our recordings you find yourself to be upset or triggered in any way, shape or form, we urge for you to please stop watching the recording and contact Lifeline on 13 11 14 or a close friend if you need that kind of help. You can also reach out to us at www.beyondthebanter.org. We hope that you are all okay. And also, again, I want to reiterate the importance to remember that myself nor any of our guests or Ms. Shak are in any way, shape or form qualified in any medical field or mental health profession. So anything that we say or any suggestions or advice that we give is based on life experience purely. And we do urge for anyone that is not feeling okay to contact their mental health professional or their GP. Now I would like to introduce our second guest, and that is Miss Shaunee. Thank you so much for agreeing to come on and share your story. And I will just say there is a trigger warning, as Shaunee will be talking about being a white Aboriginal in not a supported community or upbringing. So she's going to be sharing her story and what she went through as a minority. Shaunee, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Pleasure to meet you.
What's up? So how are you, Shaunee? Would you like to start from the beginning, I guess? Tell us your story.
I was, at the age of 2, I was raised by a single mother. There was 3 of us. I was a middle child. We had to move from the area that we were currently living in and move down to the Central Coast. My mum worked full time, raised us ratbag kids, and when my brother was 6 years old, he was severely burnt, full thickness burns to the inside of his thighs and legs due to a farming accident. So we spent a lot of time at the Children's Hospital, the burns unit, staying in, cheap motels and stuff like that, just so my brother could have his surgeries. And
All right, that must have been quite a weight on your mum and the rest of you kids.
Oh, my mum's a superhero. I mean, I look up to her so much. You know,
Most mums are.
It would
yeah,
have also taken a
she
big
does so
effect
much.
on you children as well. Watching your mother go through putting one of her three children more, what's the word I'm looking for? Not ahead, but more of a priority.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
It would have impacted you children a lot as well. And you also
yeah.
taking on the burden of your mum's feelings as well.
I think mum raised us to be rocks as like her. I mean, we're just one unit. We
Yep,
just support each other. So it wasn't too much, of her putting like us like him above everyone else. It was the fact of us coming together, and we were one unit.
absolutely. Raise each other up when one falls
Beautiful.
down. I love
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
When her
So
crown got knocked down, you were there to push her back up.
Might
that's
need
a
a step
that's
ladder to
exactly
jump up on it as a kid. Maybe it's
yeah.
just me.
Well, we're very protective over each other. So
I love
yeah.
that. What kind of effect did that have with your brother? Obviously, going through surgeries and stuff like that. Did that affect your schooling as kids? Your relationships, friendships?
Um, Not really. No, I mean, obviously, mum being the single provider of the family and stuff. Like, obviously, it. We never had the best of the best. We never had anything like that. But what we did have, we made. You know,
Made you.
yeah, we made. We'll do what we had, and my mum always said, if you've got love, that's all you need, and that's something that I grew up with. So I didn't
Absolutely.
need the flash things.
Yeah, I love that.
She's a
Yeah.
warrior, sounds
Yeah.
like.
Did you guys have any support from your community or services within the hospital or I guess Aboriginal workers and stuff? Like I know there's is there Aboriginal social work that works directly with you guys to kind of help, or are you just kind of like stumped into everyone else's category?
Yeah, pretty much. We were stumped into everyone else's category. I mean, like my brother, yeah, he did go away on camps and stuff during the situation, um, which gave us me and my little sister some one-on-one time with mum and that while he was away, and
So a bit of
gave my
respite.
brother, yeah, gave my brother a good opportunity to see other kids in his same predicament. And I mean, there was a lot of other kids that were burnt from head to toe, but
Wow. How's your brother now? Is he okay?
he's all grown up. He's given me a beautiful niece. You know,
Cool.
it's
I
great.
love
He's
that.
35 now, so
Oh wow, awesome.
A
yeah,
king raising a queen.
Yeah, good on
yeah.
him. So moving on, what was like school like for you, like especially being white Aboriginal? Um, do you, when you were younger and that, do you, I guess, how would you say it? Like,
It would have been hard to categorize you because people
yeah,
are very in the you
judgmental.
fit with this and you fit with this,
Yeah,
but being a mix
yeah,
would have been hard for you to be put in a
yeah,
category which you
yeah,
shouldn't. No one should ever feel like they are,
yeah.
but it's like
I guess,
okay,
did you
you are.
identify as Aboriginal?
I did,
Um,
and my mum made sure it was something that we were,
Aboriginal.
you know,
Good on her.
proud of. We're proud of our history, regardless of what it is.
Absolutely.
Um, I never had any issues really with my peers, and
Yep.
that they seemed to accept me and love me, but it was more the older generation that kind of struggled with it. And when I was at school, it was based on a percentage. It wasn't based on being Aboriginal.
You're not a drill bit, like you can't, I think, and I don't think it should be for anyone else to pass judgment, regardless if you're translucent or whether you are darker than the night sky. You know what I mean? I think we're all human at the end of the day and should be accepted for who we are, not what we look like. So,
That's exactly right.
yeah. So please carry on with your story.
Yeah, school wasn't I wasn't very academic. I was more, I could apply a lot of things.
Yep.
Um, I had some issues with some teachers, which caused me to move around at a few schools and stuff. Um, and
Bit of a rebel, were you?
I just had a take no crap attitude. So if someone
Yeah.
was rude to me, they were copying it back,
Yeah. Absolutely.
and that's just who I was and who I
You
am.
knew your worth.
Yeah, yeah. And being raised with respect as well. Like I'm a big believer of you've got to give respect to receive it, and
It's earned, not just given.
That's exactly right. And that's something I went through. And, some schools were better than the others. I went to one school, and to year four, like with the Aboriginal and the percentage and that, I'd have one specific teacher that would go, "You're black, aren't you? Come up here and read this." And it
Wow.
was, and I was in year four at the time. So, I couldn't read the best of times, but
Yeah.
And you were never taught that way by your mother either. So that's all new to you. So
yeah.
that's
So I
affecting you
used
as
to,
well. Like it makes you question. Um,
yes.
I don't know if that did that have an
Yeah,
effect
it
on
did.
you of like, what does this mean, mum? Why
Well,
am
that's
I
what I would say. Like,
being
I'd
treated
walk
that way?
in, and me and another child would be kicked out instantly. Instantly. We would walk in the room and they'd be like, "Yeah, no, I'm not dealing with you today. Get out."
Wow.
So we kind of, made our own little. There was an old greenhouse shack at the primary school
Yeah.
that we put like desks and tables and that in, and we'd just
Mm.
sit in there all day.
See, that's horrible, but in the same sense, it's beautiful, like you found your spot where you were comfortable, but it came from being segregated, like we're not back in the olden days, and it's a fear when someone that's supposed to be, guiding us and looking after us and teaching us the right things is judging us and putting us into a bracket and a demograph and not wanting to deal with it or approach it and try to educate people. Instead, they're just kind of, shooing you away because it's just easier rather than trying to understand what's going on and being supportive. I think there's a learning lesson in everything. And I hope that teacher's still not teaching because
Well, they're supposed to be creating a
it's
safe space, and you instead
100%
had to create your
your
own
own, which
safe
is
space.
horrible.
And it's not the way of living. It's teachers are teachers. They're in a way another form of a parent.
Yeah.
They're guiding you. They're nurturing you. They're educating you.
Mhm.
They're making sure you are safe.
Yeah.
You are validated, and you are wanted. Not it shouldn't be up to the child to
Yeah.
create their own safe space.
Did you talk to your mum about what was happening at school?
I never liked to burden my mum. Obviously, she had a lot of issues and stuff, so I
Yeah.
kind of kept it to myself for a little while. I was a young kid
Yeah.
that was allowed to do whatever she wanted, so it
Yeah.
was, I was like all for
Why
it.
rock the boat?
Yeah, pretty much. I'd sit in there, make paper aeroplanes with me mate and run around the school like a little rat bag. So
Yeah.
it
Oh, that's
didn't
good.
phase me, and until it come to a head, and he'd actually report me missing
Oh, wow.
when things started getting raised. Where is she? Why hasn't she done her schoolwork?
Yeah.
He'd report me missing, and this other student, and
Even though he was the one that told you to get out. Wow.
yes, and to the point had even rung police. So
And
my
knew
mum,
quite well where you were.
yeah, so my mum would freak out because they would
Yeah.
contact her and go, "Oh well, she's gone missing. She's taken off." So obviously, my mum being a single provider, she then had to take time off work.
Yeah.
And I'd just be sitting in the school. Mum would go, "Well, where were you?" I'm like, "In school." Like, I wasn't leaving school.
Did that kind of, I guess, spark the conversation of what is happening?
Yeah, so
And
that's
what
when the
happened from there?
conversation. My mum actually straight away contacted the principal,
Mhm.
and that was the time I was very blessed with my stepfather. So I kind of had it, I I had someone there
Yep.
to back me up. So they all sat in a room, and the day before this happened, he'd actually thrown my skateboard and bag out of the classroom and actually had broken something.
Wow.
And it happened to be my older brother's Walkman.
Uh-oh.
So my brother wasn't very happy. So he ended up at
Mhm.
school.
Oh, no.
Yeah, yeah.
How'd that go down?
Well, he ran away.
Oh, no.
The teacher ran away.
The drama.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so my mum ended up at the school, and this teacher had turned around and said to my stepfather, "Well, I hate her, and she hates me. I don't want her in my classroom." When the
Wow.
truth started coming out,
Yeah. And
and
so what was the resolve? Like, what ended up happening,
my mum
Like,
ended up, she pulled me out of the school
yep.
straight away after that comment,
Mhm.
um, because she'd arranged, she was wondering why I wasn't so academic and everything like that. So when it did come out, it was,
Mm.
it wasn't my fault. There wasn't anything wrong with me. It was just a
Of course.
situation.
Mm-hmm.
But that still entail would have made you feel like there is something wrong with you as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah, definitely.
How did you get told that that's what that teacher said, or were you there when that teacher said
I
that?
was in the room.
How did
I
that
was
make
in the
you
room
feel
with
as a
my
child?
stepfather. I got quite cranky at the situation because it was something like I never done anything that I felt like I was in year 4 to
You were just a baby.
warrant that
Innocent child.
disrespect. And once it started coming out, my mum explained to me that it's not an okay situation you're in, and you shouldn't be treated that way. It's not okay.
Good on her. I love that you have such a good bond with your mum. It's
She validated your feelings when you needed it the
100%.
most.
And
And
yeah,
that,
she's always done that.
good on her.
She's all, like I said, she's superwoman.
Mama
Mm.
power. Mama power.
So now, moving on to, I guess, your adult life and relationships, and let's get down to the nitty gritties, and
Well, as I said, I got my stepfather, and I was blessed with having my grandfather, which was, he was my father figure for a long time. He unfortunately was diagnosed with cancer
oh, I'm sorry.
for the 4th time, and he died in
Oh.
2008.
Mm,
But he had the
Sorry for your
same,
loss.
yeah,
yeah, he had the same driven attitude. So, he was the man that took me fishing and stuff. So I then had too many in my corner. So I learned how to adjust to having them father figures, and especially Father's Day at school. My grandfather did this amazing thing. A lot of kids don't have fathers in their life.
yeah,
He would, and Father's Day barbecues and stuff like that, I'd sit on this, like, we'd have to sit out the front on a silver seat.
yeah.
Well, what my grandfather did was he would pick me up and then he would go find every single child on a silver seat and we'd all have lunch with him.
Oh, that is so sweet. Look at that. You lost one deadbeat dad and you gained two, your stepdad and
Yeah.
your grandfather. It's blessings coming left, right, and center. It's really, really nice to see.
Yeah,
It
so
also teaches you as well to what expect in the future for your future partner, for your future children as well. It's setting a high bar
yes,
of what you deserve and what you're entitled to. That's a beautiful
that's it.
thing.
That is
Definitely.
exactly right, and that's I had two great people in my corner who taught me what love was and the value of it, and especially I have my mum there as well. She taught me the value of love and respect and what you deserve, which was
Absolutely.
really good. And then so I ended up going to high school, got expelled twice from there, but
Fun.
it
I
was,
really asked
I was going to say, didn't see that coming.
Not at all. We're poking that button at all.
Yep.
well,
What'd you
that's
do?
exactly-
Fill the bangs.
yeah, I'm one of them people, but I stayed. They couldn't send me anywhere else, so I stayed and I got my Year 12 certificate just to spite the teachers. But I still got it.
Good on you.
Who hasn't done
Um,
something in life just to spite another person?
Oh,
well,
100%.
I'm
that's
going to
exactly right.
succeed because you didn't
Absolutely.
believe in me.
If there's one thing that you want to be good at in life, it's payback.
Well,
and
that's
doing
exactly
things
right,
just
and that's
because
what.
you can.
Absolutely.
So I'll
That's
show
the way I
you.
see it. I'm staying just purely to drive you mad. That was my intention.
Done.
Everyone's got to be a
Mic drop.
little bit. Are you all of us have to be a little bit toxic.
Yes.
If you don't have a tiny bit of toxic in you, what do you got?
I reckon that's my middle name.
You're toxic. Can you tell me what do you think thus far has been probably the hardest thing that you've gone through in your life?
Yeah. So so I'm a tradie,
Yeah.
on-site worker, sheet metal worker. 2
Cool.
weeks out of high school, I actually got my apprenticeship.
Good on you.
So I worked there, loved my job, being on site, being with the boys. It's great. In 2019, I was on my way to site, and I was stopped at a red light about 15 minutes from work, and a guy, distracted driver, took me out from behind.
Wow.
resulting in my both SIJ joints, and I lost. So essentially, L5 down is damaged, and I lost feeling to my left leg.
Wow.
So, can you elaborate on whereabouts on your body that is for people that don't know? Because I don't.
So essentially, it's what connects your spine to your pelvis.
Yep.
Okay.
The bigger ones down the bottom.
I thought it was up.
I'm
not a doctor.
That's exactly. None of us
I'm
are.
not
None
a
of us
doctor.
are.
I look good as a
Very-
doctor. Good costume.
But look,
Best
we do
way,
have a lot
yeah.
of patience, so we would be good doctors. But I'm joking. That's not true.
So
That
yeah,
was-
so essentially, it's what connects your pelvis to your spine.
Okay.
Yeah. And so, did that result in any kind of paralysis or just the loss of feeling?
I spent 2 months in a wheelchair.
Crikey.
I obviously remember the accident, which is where the PTSD started, and it's just what my body done that shocked me, because I thought it was all over when he hit me, and then all of a sudden, the stuff happened to being in the air and hitting the ground, and I just opened my eyes because in that situation it was essentially fear that but my body was calm. I seen everyone that I loved like a movie screen going across my helmet,
Wow.
and then all of a sudden I'm laying in fuel and coolant, and my tow truck driver was actually, he had seen what happened.
So we were on a
I
motorcycle.
was just about to say that. You said helmet.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Same.
So
Wow.
I assume you were in a
Versus
car.
pilots.
My gosh. So you were
Wow.
on a motorcycle and he hit you with his car. Crikey.
Yeah,
You're
from
lucky to
behind.
be here, girl. You're meant to be here.
Mm.
Yeah, well, and I thought it was all over,
Wow.
and that's what, remembering it all until I hit the ground. I was knocked unconscious.
Mm-hmm.
I remember being hit from behind, and I did not see the car coming. He come from nowhere. Obviously being a motorbike rider, and I've been doing it since I was 6 years old.
Yeah.
I focused a lot on, looking everywhere. As a motorbike rider, you've got to expect things to happen and
Cool.
have that split mind
But
frame.
not at a red light up your tail.
Yeah.
And I
So,
think that's one of the most dangerous things. I hope you got done.
yeah. No.
What?
No. So he received a neg driving charge, and that was about it.
Are you serious?
Because he hit me before going through the lights. Yes.
And how did that make you feel that justice wasn't there, and you would have? I'm assuming that would have made me personally feel unsupported.
I
Like,
was.
why is that okay, and my life doesn't feel like it's
Worth
valued
it.
enough?
Yeah, months of your life in a hospital bed, and
The rest of your life.
oh, mate
probably.
gets a,
Well,
do
that's it.
better.
It was the whole situation, see, because even in the hospital, they tried to make me walk and sent me home that day.
What?
It was only yeah. So I got taken to the hospital, and I was discharged 8 hours later.
Do they think you're just faking it or something?
I honestly, I cannot confidently say what they were thinking, because I sat there, my mum made it to that hospital, because the tow truck driver, actually, he was amazing in the situation. So it turns out that this is a fun fact for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Save your contacts as your favourites, because in the case of an accident, they can actually ring them with your phone locked.
Yeah, absolutely. Emergencies.
I did not know that. Thank you.
That's correct.
I did not know that until the tow truck driver, he was amazing. He knew I could not hear an absolute word he was saying.
Yeah.
But he's like, it's okay. I seen it. I'm going to look after you. And he actually had rung my mum.
Yeah. Also, for iPhone users, there is also in your settings, there's a medical alert part where you can put contacts for emergency contacts, also addresses, their relationship to you. And if you do have Siri activated on your phone, you can actually, if in an emergency someone does find your phone, they can go, "Hey Siri, please contact emergency contact," and it will actually do it for you. You just need to, and that's iPhone users. So if you don't have any favorite contacts, make sure you do put that into your Med Alert one on the iPhones as well in your settings. Super important.
Yeah,
Good
it
to know. I
definitely
didn't know
is.
that.
Yeah.
And being in that situation, like it tripped me out the whole time at the hospital. I had this man contact my mum. My phone is locked, you
Yeah.
know, but he did,
Lucky.
and I remember that because I remember screaming out on the like when I was on the ground, going, "Mum, I'm fine. Well, we're all good. Just another motorbike accident, you know."
Right.
Just
Just paralyzed, but she'll be right.
Yeah,
well, that
you
was
going through
the
that
funny thing was
situation.
Try
You're
not to
already
stress
trying-
your mum.
Yeah, already trying to protect your
Wow,
mum.
what a warrior.
and that's
So moving forward onto that, life, like relationships, kids, stuff like that. Like, do you have
well,
kids? Relationship? Like, what's your
I do have a partner. I do have a partner. We've been together for 7 years, actually. So
awesome?
he knew me before this accident, and
Yep.
he's actually a tradie as well, which makes it funny because
And he stuck by you?
yeah,
I
like
love
he
that.
made it to the hospital. He was in the city working, and he made
Yeah,
it
good on him.
in record time, And I have it's quite funny, like going back. I ended up reconnecting with my dad and telling things
Yeah,
like about my dad and stuff. And around that time, I had just met my partner, and he's also a single father himself.
yeah.
And I was graced with a little girl that I had taught to motorbike ride just locally.
Mm.
I just started teaching her how to motorbike ride, and she's got one hell of a backstory and one
So your
hell of.
accident still didn't scare you off riding and stuff?
Oh, so this was before the big accident. I'm still waiting to ride
Yep,
again. I'm
yep.
still waiting to ride again. But I
Oh, yeah.
was graced with a beautiful little girl that I had taught how to motorbike ride, and then one day, she's got her story to tell. But I remember doing like a 12-hour shift, and this little girl knocking on the door saying, "I have nowhere to go," and
Mm,
she had walked around with no shoes on all day since
mm.
6 o'clock in the morning. And I went, "Well, why the bloody hell didn't you come here?"
Yeah.
And she ended up living with us, and
Mm.
she's never left. We contacted I'm not sure what they'd call it, like family services, docs, fax,
Yeah.
and let them know, and she'd never left. So yeah, I got a
Good
beautiful
on
little.
you.
She's going to be 21 next month,
Wow,
and
good on
as
you.
she
That's
was 12,
amazing.
and
Yeah,
she was
you saved it. You saved a human.
Yeah.
Really.
she saved me.
Saved each other by the
Yeah,
sound of it. It's a
yeah,
beautiful thing.
she's amazing. She's I could not be any proud of who she's become.
Absolutely. That is actually such a
Yeah,
beautiful
it gives
story.
me goosebumps.
I know, literally. Shivers. So, come towards the end, was there anything else that, in life or love or any more tales that you want to,
Give us the juices.
yeah,
I think just dealing with the PTSD side of things. I mean,
yeah,
there's a lot of people that could be going through it or is starting to go
yeah,
through it. Like I had to wait a long time through the insurance company to
yeah.
actually reach out and get help.
And then where was that? What kind of help did you receive after you had to wait all that time?
I got in contact with a counselor,
Yep.
and she was amazing. She knew my language and was telling
Yeah.
me, you're being a crazy person. Like, we need to adapt to these things. She was the first, but she's
Yeah.
very honest and clear cut. So it made
That
it
tough
very,
love. It's kind of like we know shit happened, but let's just, get back on track and
well,
And that
that's
does happen a
exactly
lot with
right.
yeah,
counsellors as well, and therapists and psychologists, and
yeah,
that you either click with someone or you don't. They need to speak on your
yeah,
wavelength. It's all right. Well, I've had a meeting with you. You weren't on my level with me, the way
yeah,
I kind of go about things. So you move on to the next one. Don't just give up after the first go.
yeah,
Keep going until someone like a shoe fits you.
yeah,
Yeah.
And if that fits, she spoke on your level. She
definitely.
pulled you up and said, "You are tough. I know you. I see
Yeah.
you, and I'm not going to let you give in."
Suck it up, she says.
Boom.
Well, that's what she was like, because
Yeah.
with PTSD, you blame yourself a lot, and
100%.
I thought with the writing skill I had, I could have avoided the accident.
Yeah.
And before speaking to her, I could not speak about it at all. Like I
Yeah.
couldn't sleep.
Thank you
I
so
had
much for opening up about it. I understand how hard it must be.
Yeah.
Did with the PTSD, like how are you coping now? Like do you get flashbacks and stuff, or like what are your kind of symptoms, I guess, because I know I've got PTSD and like it's completely different to friends that I know that have got PTSD. You know, everyone's signs and symptoms are completely different.
And their causes of PTSD is different under different
100%,
circumstances.
yeah.
It could be life things that happen, or accidents,
absolutely,
or childhood trauma.
Yeah, everyone is
something.
so different.
Well, that's what, like, as a kid, I had issues with depression, you know, and,
Yep.
you know, the PTSD was just, like, I don't even know how to explain it. Like, I couldn't sleep.
Mhm.
I couldn't let anyone drive, the car. Like,
Yeah.
I just hang on to my seat, you know. I didn't know why I was panicking. I didn't know why
Yeah.
I was so high strung. Like, I was just
Yeah.
looking for something to happen.
Wow.
You can
And
kind of
then,
still hear it a little bit in your voice that there's still that
Shakiness.
yeah
Absolutely.
of fear, and
Yeah.
that's absolutely validated.
100%. And no one can ever, ever, ever tell you how long or when you might be able to deal with your PTSD, whether you will ever be able to deal with your PTSD. You know, I think it is individual to every single person, you know. No one's is any less or worse to anyone except for themselves, you know. And I think it's very important for people to understand that PTSD is a very real, invisible illness. And it is something that you can't just shut off. You know, it's something that is triggered, and then one day it might just disappear for a month, and then boom, it's back and it hits you like a ton of bricks, you know? And I
well,
think
that's
we need
exactly
to,
right.
yeah. And I think us as humans too, being diagnosed with PTSD as well, which I found out is that I had to be more open with people about it, because for me, sometimes I get attitude like kind of like snappy, and then I'll close off and over it, like, you know, just, you know, and like, because that's my safe zone. Like, I'll just like
It's your coping
push,
mechanism.
and it works on my ADHD too. My brain just
Absolutely.
goes, no more.
Done.
And
I'm
it can
out.
come across as me being quite rude or dismissive,
Abrupt.
yeah, or dismissive
I've
of
been
someone
called it.
else. But that's my kind of, that's a trauma, you know, like you revert back to the safe zone, and that's cutting everything off. And so my friends and family, I'm very open with them, and obviously most of them know about my traumas and stuff. But you need to be, if you do have PTSD, never ever, and this is for everyone listening, never ever be ashamed. Never be ashamed of your diagnosis. Never be ashamed to talk about it, explain it, and have people that have never dealt with it understand it. You know, it doesn't make you any less than anyone else. You know, I think using your story, your past traumas, your life experiences to help, I guess, give people knowledge, give people that have never really had to deal with that kind of stuff a bit more understanding of certain triggers and certain ways to deal with someone if they can see that they might be, you know, having a bit of anxiety or PTSD or a little flashback, or, you know, something with their mental health that they can see is out of character. Just ask, are they okay? Sit with them, you know, sit with them, be quiet, try not to so many questions and stuff at them, you know, give them space. You know, I think one thing is not what is wrong with you, why is this,
What's your problem?
exactly, because a lot of times it can make it worse, you know. Yeah, I just think be understanding and just ask the question, are you okay? If someone doesn't want to answer that, or if they push you away, give them a little bit of space, but don't give up.
Also, when you
Still
are
keep asking.
asking the question of are you
Yeah.
okay, making sure that you're mentally capable of
Abs-
hearing what they have to say as well.
Absolutely. You can't fill
'Cause if
someone
you're
else's
not
cup if
ready-
yours is empty.
That's right.
Yeah, absolutely.
So with your PTSD, it would have to do also with, because I have it as well, I've had a car accident, that sort of stuff, smells, sounds,
Yeah,
lights.
so, and it's really funny, like, working with a counselor, I was more able to understand what were my triggers and why, because, like I said, before seeing her, I could not speak about the accident. I could not. I'd end up, and I can use these words now because through a counselor, it's very
Mhm.
hyper vigilant, and
Yep.
I think it's over aroused that they
Yep.
use. Um, so
And you
I
should
did
be incredibly
understand.
proud of yourself to be
Yeah.
able to go back, have a look where you were. Now you can say those words. I seen you smile. I felt the pride within yourself that
Mm.
look what you've overcome.
Yeah.
Now you can speak And now you say the words that you feared so much to talk about.
Yeah.
Like,
And be proud of yourself. Be proud. You know?
I am.
That's fun. And you can see that in your face. I think it's important not to overload ourselves with too much. And obviously everyone's recovery and everyone's journey is going to take different times, different lengths, different ways also. But celebrate the small wins. If you go one day without freaking out, say if it's accident involved, without a car going past and beeping and freaking out and going into a panic attack, if you do that one day that you don't when that horn beeps, treat yourself, be proud of yourself, because that's one step forward. I think it's when people are too hard on themselves and they don't respect the fact that they are growing, they are moving forward, they are learning how to manage these kind of emotions. That's when we almost go backwards, because we're not putting that love and respect into ourselves for the smallest kind of thing. It doesn't have to be a massive, I'm getting straight back on that bike and going for a drive. Like that could never happen. It could happen in 10 years, like 1 year, but even just the smallest thing, be proud.
Well, we're so quick to put out there to be kind to people, but we forget to be kind to ourselves.
Absolutely.
That's exactly right. And that's, like every day, obviously I have to have schedules and stuff, but, I can do things on my own now, which is great, because I've had to deal with, I don't know what you call early retirement, and learning my new limitations and stuff. And I'm still learning them. Like I'm still not.
You had a life plan and that had to change.
Yes.
That's a major adjustment of why me? Why me? Why now?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And once getting over that, I couldn't avoid it. I then had to live with, okay, this was not my fault, but this is something I have to deal with.
And that is a question, if you don't mind me asking. How do you feel about that now? Do you still blame yourself, or is it getting a lot better?
I don't blame myself in a sense anymore, but obviously I do have the after effects and stuff, like my triggers and stuff. Like I'm learning them every day.
Yeah.
But I can get in the car and drive now. I can walk now, with the push of my mum, and she organised the wheelchair. Like she's a disability worker and works for veterans. So like I said, I cannot ask for my mum.
Yeah.
She helped me how to walk again, and
good on her.
My nightmares and stuff, because there was things I didn't know. Like I grind my teeth now and yell out, and my partner does not mention it. He's just like, a bomb could go off and I would be still asleep. Like, my mum goes, it's okay.
Oh, sorry. No, you've got a beautiful relationship with your mum. I think, it's something
people would be envious of.
Oh, I am. Trust me.
She should be so incredibly proud of the beautiful woman that she has raised as well, and the two other children that she.
Yeah.
Well, that's a funny thing, my little sister's also a diesel mechanic, so she raised two girl tradies, and it's just
women doing tough women things. I love it.
Absolutely.
Mama didn't raise no princess.
Independence. I love that. Well, I just want to reiterate as a friend, you are doing so flipping well, and I hope you're as proud of yourself as we are of you. I've known you a little while now, and you're just an absolute gorgeous person. You're always first to want to help people, and also being one of our ambassadors for Beauty Beyond the Banter. I personally cannot thank you enough. And anytime on live, when I'm on live and we share it out, if someone needs someone to chat to, boom, straight away you're in there, putting your hand up and wanting to be, that person that is a positive influence, even though you've gone through so much in your life. So I'm so incredibly proud of you.
I've only just met you, and I'm so inspired by you and your charisma, your strengths, your passion, just the fight for life, fight for yourself. That's something to be so incredibly proud of.
Absolutely.
Yourself. Well, that's the best thing. From the best.
That's the best thing. Being an ambassador, that's the one thing I got to add. It's the people that have been through, things, and they don't want to see other people go through it. And that's why I'm the first person to put my hand up, because I know what it's like to feel the way of not wanting to be here. But the thing is, it does get better, and a lot of people won't see that, but it does.
And that's what we're about.
Yeah,
You
and I'm
know,
so thankful.
Yeah, absolutely.
you are the prime example of everything an ambassador kind of embodies is, embracing our journeys, but also teaching from our journey,
We will
and
never learn if we don't get educated from our
100%.
experiences in life.
100%. And that's why, we will say and we'll continue saying, like, we aren't trained doctors, we aren't mental health professionals. We are just chicks that have gone through some tough shit in life. And we just want other people to realize that whether you have or haven't gone through some stuff in life, we're here to listen. We're here to talk, if anyone's
alone.
story, like if your story, when I pick Shak's brain, her story, my stories, anyone's story, anyone that we have on the podcast from past to future, I want to make sure, and I know I can speak for all of us, that we can at least help one person. And if we do, mission complete,
Job done.
it's
Tick.
something that is able to go out worldwide. Like, obviously, we do a lot of mental health stuff on TikTok.
We do.
And you being my beautiful moderator as well as ambassador and friend, and you do such a beautiful job as well being a moderator. And, for anyone that does watch TikTok or stream and stuff like that, I cannot express enough how much you need to be grateful for moderators. They do such an incredible job.
An unpaid job.
100%. And sometimes not thanked, and it's super important because they're the foundation of the community that you have on your page. And you are honestly a blessing. And I love seeing your name come in, and you're just always putting positive comments. And, I think it's super important to have mental health chats and stuff.
Yeah.
It's, on TikTok and stuff, but it's really hard sometimes to either get that feed or get that put out to more than people that are in your room, which is why I think Beauty Beyond the Banter is such a good platform that's here forever. Like, these are stories that are very specific. They're going to be all so different, but it's there for someone that might be going through a rough time dealing with postnatal depression, with PTSD via accidents, DV,
A loss in the family.
a loss, loss,
A breakup. Something is
so many different
what
topics.
people think is so silly of a breakup is
100%.
so heartbreaking.
And then they can just jump on
and whatever
Spotify, YouTube, go have a gig.
That's right.
And it might help them.
Mods as well are so incredibly important because whatever comments Jaz misses,
they pick up.
Mods pick up and go, she didn't quite see that. But you are not alone.
Absolutely.
Here. And you bring it, and then Jaz will see it.
Exactly.
I will see it. And then we just be there.
Yeah.
No one is allowed to suffer alone.
Exactly. And everyone's like, you guys, like, I get it a lot. Like, everyone's like, oh, little lady, which is my name on TikTok, little lady, you're so blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, you know what? We are a face. Like, yeah, sure, we jump on and we spend the hours and stuff, but we're only
and what a beautiful face.
And you've heard me say it a million times before, but I always say there's no me without we.
Yeah.
Because if I didn't have such beautiful people supporting me when I jump on, messaging me, if they can see I'm having a rough day, helping with comments, if there's situations happening, and kind of micromanaging for me, I wouldn't be able to stream the way that I do. I mentally wouldn't be able to do it. You guys are the foundation of the stream, and I cannot put enough importance on the thanks and respect that I have for all of you. I'm sure Shak for her crew too. And, just being a blessing on social media too, which is a really rough platform for a lot of people and can be quite triggering as well, especially for PTSD, people with invisible illnesses, epilepsy, ADHD, autism, like any kind of learning difficulty, delay, as well as like emotional kind of like triggers. And going into someone's chat, even if you've never met this streamer or whatnot, if you see drama, which I always say to people, if you see drama, don't interact, just put call Lifeline 13 11 14. It breaks the chat up, for one, because a lot of streamers get too far into what's happening and the drama and the views that they're not worrying about the people that are supporting them. And I think it's as an ambassador, this, it's super important not to just turn a blind eye. Like, we need to not involve ourselves in situations that could be volatile, but we need to be pushing out a positive message, which is reach out, give someone that opportunity to have a number to call, or be that positive comment saying you are loved, I am proud of you. Like, drink some water, it's after 5 whiskey. But definitely shoey. But yeah, no, honestly, Shaunee, I can't thank you enough for being on here and sharing your time with us and your story. You're an incredible human. And
thanks to Jaz for introducing us as well, because now I get the opportunity to learn you.
You're not taking it from me.
Learn more of your story.
You can't have that.
Want to be my mod?
Wow.
So,
here we go. So guys, back to my
I love learning people's lives.
Absolutely.
Their story, your daily struggles, your monthly struggles, your yearly struggles, because I can learn something from that.
Yeah.
Well, I now would like to learn more.
That's why I love Beyond the Banter. Like, there's stuff that's already been mentioned that, it took me 3 years, like nutrition and stuff. Like, it's a big part to mental health.
Yeah.
You don't expect that. So.
Yeah, exactly. And it's important, everyone know it's not weak to speak. It's okay not to be okay. And just remember, it's a bad day, not a bad life.
Exactly. And patience. I love how you say that, because it is. It gets better. It may take 1 day, 2 days. You start to feel okay, and there's people in your life that they need you around. You're very important to someone. And
absolutely.
It's just your brain that tells you you're not.
100%. Love yourself, respect yourself, and be proud of yourself. It's the small achievements in life. Well, Shaunee, thank you so much again.
Not stressed.
Absolutely. Shak, you did incredible. First one.
Sorry.
Well done, Pound Town. Bring it in. Pound Town with Shaunee. We're so weird. ADHD following. Anywho's it. So thank you, and to everyone that's been listening and watching along to this.
Sorry.
Thank you so much for joining in again to number 2 of our Beauty Beyond the Banter podcast. I've been your host, Jasmine, and this is my co-host,
Shak,
and our beautiful guest,
Shaunee.
That's it, girl. Shaunee. We hope that you can be as proud of yourselves as we are of you. If you need any help in any way, shape or form, please do not hesitate to reach us at www.beyondthebanter.org. If you are struggling mentally, please call 13 11 14, which is Lifeline. You can also find other links and numbers on the Beyond the Banter page. Please reach out, okay? You are not alone, and we care. Have a good night, good morning, or good day. Bye.
Thank you for joining the podcast for Beyond the Banter. Before we get started, you need to know some important information. If you need support immediately, please reach out to one of the following organisations. Lifeline on 131114, Beyond Blue on 1300224636, or Men's Line Australia on 1300789978. If your life is in danger, please call 000 immediately.